giving up a Kessel trade type of situation. Just dumping, picks and players at him. But I would love to be able to get a Subban, lock him in for 2-3 mil for the max, 7 years. I would love to be able to do that because, that is an ideal world. That's what every team's looking for, obviously. Because this situation, paying a guy $5 mil a year as a goalie, I don't know how much the cap is going to go up. They've got it listed up here. I don't know if this, again, I don't know how this is going to work, but they've only got the cap going up $500,000 from last year to this year, and then the year after that it's only going up $250,000, and the year after that it's going up $225,000, which is cool. But then it goes back down, so it's like it keeps bouncing around, but it doesn't continuously go up like the real NHL pre the CBA and then post CBA. There was that year that they went down after the CBA, but every year before the CBA leading up to it, the new one, and every year leading up to since the CBA, the cap isn't going up. Even next year with the the Jazz with the salary cap and the Canadian dollar and with oil price and all that stuff, even with all that, they're saying the cap it might go up a couple million, or it might even just stay the same. But this I don't understand this. This going up $500,000, going up $250,000, going up 2.5, going down 2.5. It's like it just bounces all around. So yeah, if I knew the cap was going up $1 million every year, I would it was from 2005 to 2012 when it was going up like 2-3 mil every year. I don't mind paying a goalie $5 mil for 7 years because the cap's going to be going up. His contract is actually going to be a smaller percentage of my cap every year, which is cool because that's what I care about. I don't care about the number. I care about how much he is hitting my cap as far as a percentage of the whole, because that's less money I have to spend. Not to mention, if one thing I have noticed is in previous games is if the cap is $65 million and you've got a guy who's 26 years old, 86 overall, this situation right here, and is becoming a UFA, he might charge you 4.5. But if the cap is 75, he might charge you 5.5. So I've noticed that they tend to charge you more of a percentage if a higher cap. And that's the real NHL. This isn't just a part of a fallacy part of the game or anything. This is how it works. Kane and Taves signed those massive contract extensions. I'm sure Chicago is going to be hurting if the cap does not go up or goes up with these guys, what NHL 15 is speculating, or the lack thereof, going up $1 million, going down $500,000, whatever. This bouncy up and down roller coaster stuff. I'm sure Chicago would not be signing those guys, and I'm sure Chicago's, I'm sure the Kane and Taves agents know the cap's going to go up, so they're trying to charge more than in order to account for the increase in the cap. That being said, guys like Crosby and Ovechkin, when they signed their extensions, the cap was lower, so they subsequently, the team got a better value. You can argue the merits of Kane versus Ovechkin or whatever. You can feel you're blue in the face, but Ovechkin's costing them 9.5. Kane's going to be costing them 11 next year or whatever it is. So it's a better value to have Ovechkin, even if you think he's not the better player, because it's actually a smaller percentage of the cap. That being said, so based on the roster that I've kind of gone through, we're looking at a projected top line of JVR Kadri and an unknown right, a 2 left Bozak and an unknown right, and Winnick and Santorelli and who knows on the right. And this is the Leafs' problem, is that they don't have the only right wing they have is Phil Kessel. Legitimately, the only one that they're not overpaying, and unfortunately, his trade value is through the roof. So he's on the block. So I don't know if let's get right into this. I could cut this off and pick this up another day, but why not just dive right in, see what this kind of looks like as far as moving some of these guys, because we've already identified Clarkson, Kessel, Phaneuf, Franzen, Robida, one or both the goalies, Komarov, Santorelli, who's already gone on the Leafs, Loops. I mean, there's a lot of guys here that we need to be considering, at least looking at the value, and at least considering them expendable. Yeah, you can tell. Obviously, I've been playing enough of this. I have not quite figured out the menus yet. All right, so and I do really like the new trade interface. I like the fact that they've got players on the block listed for teams, and I like the fact they've got the number of contracts, because for some of these guys, like I said, especially guys like Robida, Booth, Komarov, these guys, I'm not going to get much of a return. Let's be honest. So what's probably going to happen is I'm going to have to get a pick. And if they don't have room, in years past, you'd have to go through and, select, a pick. And then what would happen is you'd go back to the trade screen, and it would say, cannot process trade. This is pretty cool. I like how they tell you the players on the block. They tell you how many contracts they have. So if you're trying to dump these scrub guys, which this is the other thing. The other thing I have a major pet peeve of doing is moving guys in the AHL that don't have value. Like I didn't see a way to set your AHL lines, so okay, that's simmed or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. But you can see here, you can see the trade value, and you got guys like I don't know, some of these guys, it's their potential is projected to be bottom 6 forward. Okay, I got 4 guys who are projected to be bottom 6 forwards. Well, too bad there's only 2 spots, on the left. Then you got this guy who's projected to be a top 6 AHL guy. Why am I hoarding AHL players? I mean, let's be real here. Why have guys that are not going to be potential NHL players? I mean, I want guys in my system that one day, when I let somebody walk because they're asking for too much money, I can bring you in. I don't want guys who are just perennial AHL players. I don't care about the Marlies winning whatever it is. I don't even know the name of it. But I don't care about the AHL Cup. I'm sorry. That is not, that's not the interest. I'm in the interest of winning the Stanley Cup. That's the cup that matters. You got this guy who's 19, who's 66 overall. I would normally be like, okay, he's worth it. He's 19. Who knows? Maybe he'll blow up. Then you got the potential top 6 AHL forward. Why? Why? Give me an incentive as to why, I should hold on to you. It doesn't make any sense. Now then you got William Nylander down here, who is he's projected to do something with his career, and that's a top 9 guy. Yeah, he's currently in the AHL. He's got good trade value. He's 68. He's only 18. Etc. etc. But he's projected to be an NHL player, a top 9 guy. I like that. I can deal with that because he has that ceiling. He has the ability to transcend where these other guys can't. He's got that upside, I guess how you want to put it. But then you got like this guy, like Tyler Biggs. He's only 21, but it's like, dude, you're going to be a bottom 6 guy. You're low. You have a low projected chance of becoming a bottom 6. I mean, I'm sorry. This is not what you need when you're rebuilding are top guys. You need guys, talent. You need talent that you can cultivate. You need talent that you can work around and build around. And at least on the right, on the left, I mean, oh my God. I mean, this is like, this is pretty awful. I mean, they've got the high-end talent. They got Loops, they got JVR, they got Kessel, but it's everything in between. It's, you know, when Clarkson is your, you know, a guy with that, you know, your 4th highest trade value with the contract that he's got, and I'm sure I'm not gonna be able to trade him without eating some of his salary. I could probably try to trade him for a 7th. I could probably try to dump him through waivers in the middle of the season, and they're gonna push back on me because if this number 5.250 grinder. I mean, I like grinders, but 6 years at that number, holy crap! Like, So I'm gonna see what I can do. I mean, if I can flip some of these guys for 3rd-round picks, if I can package some of these guys, you know, like this guy right here, he's showing up as, you know, and again, this little like green highlight means that whatever team I selected, which I think is yeah, so I got Arizona selected. You know, if I'm trading with them, guys that are red are guys they want to get rid of on their side, and guys that are green on my side are guys that they want, you know, guys they're interested in. So if I could package him with somebody they don't want, I'm doing it. I'm taking that chance because I mean at this point it's like what you know, what else can you do, you know? So this is another guy, you know, Finn. I don't really know who this guy is, Matt Finn. I'm not too familiar with him. I'm familiar with Nylander. I'm familiar with some of these other guys, but I'm not too familiar with Finn. But he's a young guy, and he's got some value. And they got a he's one of the few guys on my team that have high potential of being a top 4D. In a couple years, that could be Quintos' replacement. He's a lefty as well. I've already got Gardner and Riley. Maybe he's the 3rd guy. Maybe Gardner ends up bumping down to the 3rd pair, and Finn and Riley end up being my top 2. You know, and then, you know, maybe I can move Gardner in the future, or I don't, heaven forbid, play him on the right-hand side. But yeah, I mean, you got guys like you know, Stuart Parsi, Stuart Parsi, low top 6. He's got some value. I could probably get a 3rd or maybe even a 2nd on a good team. You know, so yeah, I'm just gonna start. Yeah, so this is looking good. I mean, I can deal with that. I can deal with Reimer as my starter for a year or 2, but I can't deal with Bernier as my starter and then have him walk at the end of the year because he's asking for $5 million. Like that can't happen. So, you know, John Gibson, Subban, Jake Allen. I might have to go through this. And you know, like, this is not going to be, I don't have any sort of plan as far as, there's guys I like. There's guys I like to play with. I like to trade for David Backes. I like to trade for guys who have lower value that have high upside. But that's for sim. I mean, you know, this is a sim. This is not a play. I mean, I like to play with bigger guys like Backes, but I mean, I'm trying to just win a cup. So I'm going value. I'm going prospects. I'm going rebuild. I don't care about, you know, the play style. I like to play with a lot of grinders and power forwards and two-way forwards and, you know, guys like that. But this is more about building a team that can work long term, and that's gonna be flipping assets. So, you know, let's you know, I'm gonna start small. I'm gonna start, you know, maybe trying to fill. You know, I'm going to try dumping. You know, first of all, let's be real here. Like, the David Clarkson contract, he's gone. Like, he has to be gone. Way too much money, way too much time. So, I just want to see what I can get out of him, to be completely honest. I mean, at this point, I'm not going to try to roll anybody. I'm just going to try to, you know, get rid of him. Unfortunately, like, no offense, David Clarkson. I mean, he's a hell of a player, but I mean, he's got to go play for somebody who can afford him, and a place where he obviously wants to win. He's going to be stuck in Toronto on a team that's trying to rebuild. That's no fun. I mean, I don't care how much money you pay me. I would not want to sit around you know, yeah, he's no spring chicken. I mean, if you're a young guy,